Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. And hey now. Welcome to hour number 2 of the Line Talk 995, talk995.com, Andrew McLean, who.com, and Real Talk 99.5 TV on the YouTube. Y'all check that out. Make sure you're subscribed and all that jazz. Carrie in the house. Carrie, what's up?
What's happening today?
Just hanging out, man.
Word.
Today, 12 years ago today, was Snowmageddon.
Was it really?
Yeah, man.
Just seems like yesterday.
It does. I was flipping through. James Spann posted a bunch of pictures from it. You almost forget how crazy it was.
It happened quick. It happened
Like-
fast.
Like, it looked like a zombie apocalypse had happened with just roads, cars stranded on the highway. I mean, 280 was full of cars. People sleeping in their offices,
It was wild.
kids having to spend the night at their daycares. I spent the night at work, but it was more of a like I expected to do it. You know?
Yeah. You knew it was coming. I got out of here quick.
So it was snow. There was only about 1 to 2 inches of snow, but it was just all ice because snow fell, and there was a lot of snow. I remember when it first started snowing, like it was a lot, but the ground wasn't cold enough yet, so it melted as the temperatures continued to drop, and as the snow melted, it just froze, and everything was frozen.
Nobody expected it. Everybody went to work. Then at 9 o'clock, they're like, you better leave.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
But you know that there were some people, and there's probably some people in this audience that have this story to where their boss was like, no, you can't leave. Or you can't leave yet. They're like, we just got started. You can't leave yet. And the next thing you know, they were stuck at their place of work for 48 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, there were people stuck in their cars on the highway for 48 hours.
And then they would try to walk home, which became even worse.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're on the highway, you're probably not close to home.
No.
Like many people would probably be like 10, 15, 20 miles from home. You can't walk that.
No, it was rough.
Mm.
It was, God, how long? 13 years ago?
16.
That's crazy.
No, 12.
12. Okay, that's still crazy, but man,
2014.
wow.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like that's 12 years ago.
12 years ago, which that would mean that's 2014 that happened. I had just recently started in radio.
Wow.
So that means I've been in radio for 12 years.
Mhm.
That's crazy.
And it hasn't snowed since. Huh. Just kidding.
Not like that.
No,
Not like that. So you were working here when that went down?
I was. Yes.
And you were a producer? Or
For Jocks, for the opening drive.
Oh, I gotcha. And so you left. What did the rest of the crew leave?
Yeah, because, we did the morning show. So.
Oh, y'all were done at 9 o'clock.
6 to 10. And so it had just started coming down. And everybody was running around figuring out who's going to stay and who's going to leave. I'm like, well, guess what? I'm out.
The opening drive was gone.
We'll holla.
I mean, for the sports guys, though, was it necessity for them to stick around? Do they do weather coverage?
Not really, but it was just like everybody, if you could stay, and everybody would be on the air at some point.
Yeah.
Because we still didn't know how bad it was going to be. We just thought, get home, be melted by tomorrow. No.
It was a lot of snow.
It was.
Just didn't. It only resulted in a couple inches on the ground because, again, it was melting when it hit, and then it froze, and then by the back end of it, you got like 2 inches out of it.
And the hardest part was getting down this hill.
Oh, dude, if it freezes over, you ain't getting out of this station, dude.
No.
You can sled down there, but you ain't gonna get your car down there.
They're usually pretty good about putting sand on the hill because the Homewood Police Department and the federal offices next door, they try to keep those people able to come and go.
Yeah, that's the good thing is we're right between the Homewood Police Department and like Homeland Security.
Yeah.
So it's like if anybody's going to get their road paved or road sanded, it's going to be these guys.
Yeah. So we luck up on that end.
Hmm.
I cannot believe it was 12 years ago. That's crazy.
That is wild.
Hmm.
But that's just a blink of an eye in your lengthy radio career.
That's true. So old.
Been doing this 25 years.
Oh. That's
You had,
sad.
you had already been in the business like
Yeah,
16, 17 years at that point.
there's a lot of weather activity in those days.
Yeah.
Tornadoes and snowstorms.
Well, that was global warming. Now it's climate change, so it's a
Correct.
little bit different.
That's true. That's true. That's true.
So,
The Arctic was supposed to be melted by now.
didn't
So,
happen.
no.
Instead, we're buying Greenland,
We'll show them.
which is still frozen.
Yep. As soon as we buy it, it's going to thaw out, though.
Probably.
I'm sure.
Well, I mean that can be true because it's only America that's at fault for global warming or climate change. Like India's not responsible for it as they dump trash in the ocean. China's not
no,
responsible for it. It's just us.
Right.
Like we're the only ones that can do anything about it. And the way we do something about it is we pay the government more money. We pay for carbon taxes and solar panels.
Al Gore. What a great guy.
Al Gore, man, bear, pig. All right, so you don't normally do this, but we do a Hey Now roll call at 10 o'clock, and whoever the first one is, they get to pick the song, the next bumper song.
Okay.
Well, I didn't get to do it the first hour because we had Trump and hearings and everything else. So I've got to do the roll call now. So do you have a drum roll and a cymbal crash over there? This is what Steve normally does when I announce the winner. All right, here we go. The winner of today's Hey Now roll call is Gene. Congratulations, Gene. Hey now. Hey now, hey now. So, Gene, send us your song, buddy, and we'll get you in there. Tommy at number 2, Grumpy Old Goat at number 3, throwing people off a little bit. Kenny, Richard the Cop with the J, Scott, Jimmy Bo, Tony Gump with a Hey Now, Laura, Bob, Jeff, another Jeff, a Dexter, a Jay, Rusty, Spook, Mark and Kim, Tracy, Heath, Jesse, Mike, and Thomas, and everybody. Hey now, hey now, hey now. So, Gene, send me in on the text line what song you want, and we'll move ahead with that. As I'm keeping an eye on the Marco Rubio hearing, we might dip in and out of that. We'll see how that plays out. But other stuff I want to get to. I do want to go back real quick before we hit the break, just for the sake of argument. Donald Trump yesterday, as you hear him earlier in the show, making the announcement for the Trump accounts, $1,000 for every newborn child, and then private sector companies are all stepping in and pledging themselves $1,000 for their employees, children, and this, that, and the other. You're going to see a lot of those popping up. He also, while in Iowa yesterday, made an announcement that John Deere was going to be building a $70 million factory in North Carolina. He says that this is going to be the only excavator entirely made in the United States of America, which is probably something many of us never thought we would see. Here's what he said.
Today, I'm pleased to announce one more historic investment. The great American company that we just talked about is doing so much. I have to give it really. I buy so much equipment from so many of the people in the. We have a lot of very successful companies in here, but I know it's a very special deal because John Deere is doing $70 million in factory in North Carolina. It's brand new, the best in the world. And I think it's going to pay off very, very big. And if it doesn't, I have nothing to do with it. But if it does, I'm going to take full credit. But what it is an excavator factory, as I understand it, and it's going to be the only excavator factory. In other words, excavators. We all know I love those excavators. Believe it or not, I know a lot about them. We don't make them here. This is going to be the only excavator entirely made in the United States of America. So that's good. That's good. I love it.
So John Deere is going to be moving its construction of excavators from Japan to North Carolina, and they also announced they're building a distribution center in Indiana, according to a press release. Hebron, Indiana, wherever that is. They said, in keeping with our strong tradition of building America, we're excited to announce plans to open 2 new U.S.-based facilities, state-of-the-art distribution centers near Hebron, Indiana, and a cutting-edge excavator factory in Kernersville, North Carolina, both set to open in the next year. Now, if you haven't been able to keep up with all the different companies that are moving their businesses here to the U.S., I don't blame you. It's hard to keep up with. But this all comes down to one thing. The one thing that everybody claimed was going to crash the economy, and that was tariffs. Tariffs. Everybody said tariffs were going to ruin this country. Republican and Democrat alike. Tariffs will ruin the economy. And instead of ruining the economy, which, by the way, was already ruined when Trump came into office, it's actually creating jobs. Creating jobs and helping the economy. Imagine that. I'm shocked. I'm shocked that these tariffs have worked out. And there's more to come. 205-545-9950. A lot to get to when we get back on the other side. Hang tight. That's Marco Rubio. Marco Rubio's cold. He's as cold as ice. 205-545-9950. Speaking of somebody else that was cold, I don't know if you saw this, Gary, but anti-ice protesters outside I think it was a Spring Hill Suites Marriott in Minneapolis. They had gotten word that ICE agents were staying at that particular hotel. And so they were outside with their megaphones and their pots and pans and everything else. They did that several days ago because they thought J.D. Vance was staying at a particular hotel. It turned out he was back in D.C. And so they're out there just making a bunch of noise, accomplishing nothing. Well, this time, maybe they were right, maybe not. I don't know if there were ICE agents there. I guess there were. But as they're out there doing their thing, somebody comes up, actually a group of 3 guys, which kind of look like maybe college-age kids, come up to the window, and one of the kids turns around and pulls the back of his pants down and moons the entire crowd of protesters.
How dare he? I bet that really upset him, didn't it?
And I'm like, that right there, that's cold.
That's pretty good. I like that.
Yeah, it was. It was funny. That was funny. Good for him.
Surprised he didn't get arrested for, obscenity.
Indecent exposure.
Right. I mean, as stupid as they are.
Yeah. No, man, that was a good move. Good move on his part. And he was probably sick of hearing those people. There's so many people that are being affected by these protests that have nothing to do with any of it.
Right.
And some of which don't even pay attention to politics and probably has no idea what's going on.
They just get paid to go out there and raise hell.
Well, you got collateral damage, like business owners, people that are just trying to go about their day.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, their day is ruined by these communist nut jobs that are out there causing anarchy in the streets. And it's like, there's a reason, and I know we say this all the time, but there's a reason that kind of ish happens in Minneapolis and not in Alabama.
Yeah, mainly because they're trying to avoid all the corruption investigation. They can move the narrative. I don't think it's going to work.
Well, yeah, that's a big thing. The other reason would be the fact that your likelihood of getting run over by a F-250 increases dramatically when you are protesting in the middle of a street in Alabama.
Yeah, you don't see that much.
You'll get Billy Bob heading to the Hun Club, catch you in the middle of the road with your sign. You'll be flattened in no time.
There's a reason. That's the big one right there. Don't come to the South and protest, I guess.
No. Not going to happen, Cus. Not going to happen.
I mean, you can if you want.
But you're probably only going to do it one time.
Yeah.
Your protesting career is going to be cut short.
Well, I think most people down here work, actually.
Yeah.
Most people.
Yeah, there's, not unemployment in blue cities are a little bit higher than they are everywhere else. So you're able to go to Craigslist and pay people to be a part of the ICE Out protest.
They still have to report that payment on their taxes.
Maybe they do, maybe they don't.
I mean, they're supposed to, so if they're getting paid and they don't report it.
That's one thing the Trump administration should do, or the Treasury Department, as Scott Bessent looks into the FBI looks into the origins of a lot of this stuff. They need to go after the protesters and make sure that they're filing all of the payments that they received during that time period on their taxes.
They should do that.
And if you don't, you're treated like everybody else, man. The IRS will come after you, cuz.
And if they do, we know who paid you.
Chris Van Hollen asking question. Remember, Chris Van Hollen is Maryland Dad's guardian angel. He's the one that went to visit Abrego Garcia in the CCOT prison down in El Salvador. He's now, and I'm kind of interested to see what he has to say, asking questions to Marco Rubio about the Maduro deal. Let's listen.
Corrupt administration in American history. We also see the president wielding U.S. power overseas in a way that advances the interests of his billionaire buddies, at the expense of American interests. It was Ron Lauder, who has business ventures in Greenland, who reportedly first put the idea of grabbing Greenland into President Trump's mind. And in the case of Venezuela, President Trump has said he talked to oil executives about toppling Maduro and going into Venezuela before anyone in Congress knew. We know that in President Trump's mind, deposing Maduro was not about stopping the flow of fentanyl or drugs in the United States. He cut the budget for DEA. He pardoned the former Honduran president convicted of drug running. And the new president, Delcy Rodriguez, has herself been long suspected by DEA of being involved in drug smuggling. She's also a longtime hardened communist leader, so this operation certainly was not about bringing more freedom and democracy to Venezuela. In fact, the president told us what it was all about at his big press conference after seizing Maduro. The president said it was about oil, oil, oil. He used the word oil 19 times, never mentioned democracy or freedom or human rights. And so the pattern of corruption is clear. Now, President Trump has said publicly that he had communications with folks from the oil industry about going into Venezuela before anyone here in Congress was notified. Mr. Secretary, simple yes or no question. Were you with President Trump during any of those conversations he had with people with oil interests in Venezuela about the possibility of deposing Maduro?
That's not a simple yes or no question, but I can answer it quickly, and that is the president always elicits opinions from all sorts of people, including, for example, Chevron has an active license in Venezuela. They operate in Venezuela. They've been doing so even when the sanctions were in place. So of course you would ask Chevron, what is your opinion of Delcy Rodriguez? What are your opinion of their economy and of their prospect? But the notion that somehow the president authorized this challenge at the urging of oil executives is absurd. That never happened.
Mr. Secretary, I'm asking whether you were with the president.
That never happened. I couldn't be with him because it never happened. The oil executives were not involved whatsoever in any of the planning on this matter. None.
Did the president, as he said publicly, inform them about the U.S. operations?
I think all of those executives learned about this operation the same time everybody else did.
Well, President Trump has said the opposite in public.
No.
Yes, he has. I mean, he said it. I think it was aboard Air Force One on an airplane. It's on public record. You can take a look. Look, Paul Singer, who you know, gave $8 million toward Trump's 2024 campaign. Conveniently, through his hedge fund, he's acquired Citgo out of bankruptcy, which is suddenly very, very valuable. Did you or President Trump have any communications with Paul Singer about Venezuelan oil in the months leading up to the military action in Venezuela?
I can tell you I did not, and I would be very surprised what the president did in that regard. And in fact, that Singer position that you've outlined, which is not just him but other creditors, was actually was blocked. We don't want to see. It's one of the reasons why we had to do this account in a third country in the interim, is because we don't want it to be something that's picked apart by creditors.
I appreciate that, and we'll monitor it carefully. There's also Vitol. They've been given a license for Venezuelan oil worth about $250 million. Vitol's senior partner, John Addison, gave $6 million.
All right, so you are listening to
All right, so there's Chris Van Hollen. We'll actually, as he talks about how Donald Trump, at the urging of oil executives, went into Venezuela and arrested Nicolas Maduro. Marco Rubio makes a great point, and I think you guys probably know this. The fact that Donald Trump takes advice, and I don't know that takes advice is the right word, but elicits advice from many different people. He does it from all different walks of life, Republican, Democrat, private businesses, the public sector. He hears everybody out, and he's always been that way. He hears everybody out and takes all of those ideas and then himself decides what's the best course of action. Because he wants to know all options. If you're making a major decision, don't you want to know what all your options are? Would you want somebody to just come up to you and say, this is what you got? So you want to go to a car lot and the car dealer just say, well, we've got this car, and then not tell you about any of the other cars that he's got? No, of course not. He wants to hear all sides so he can make the best possible decision. The other thing is the hypocrisy of all of this, not just with Venezuela, but Greenland, as Chris Van Hollen brought up as well. When it comes to Greenland, he claims that it was Donald Trump's billionaire buddies that put the idea in his head to acquire Greenland, completely ignoring the fact that presidents of old, politicians of old, have repeatedly talked about the national security assurance we could have with the acquisition of Greenland. It's been talked about time and time again. This is not a new concept. Most of what Donald Trump comes up with is not a new concept. It has been talked about and pitched before. The Maduro deal, same thing. As a matter of fact, as you know, back in January, before Biden left office, in January of 2025, what did the Biden-Harris presidency do pertaining to Maduro? They raised the reward for capturing or leading to the capture of Maduro to $25 million. Now, you don't raise a reward for the capture of somebody if you're not wanting to capture them, right? The Biden administration wanted to arrest Maduro. They just didn't have the balls to do it. Chris Van Hollen's not going to point that out. None of these Democrats are going to point that out. The only difference between Donald Trump and everybody else is the fact that when Donald Trump says he's going to do something, he does it. And maybe that's a shock to the system for Chris Van Hollen. Maybe that's a shock to the system for Cory Booker. But we're in a new day and age. We're in a day and age of action where when it's talked about, it's pursued, and action is taken. And if you don't like it, deal with it. 205-545-9950. More of The Line coming up right after this. 205-545-9950. 545-9950. Is it worth entertaining the idea of Marco Rubio being the president in 2028?
Man, it's gonna be a tough call.
I mean, most of us are thinking JD Vance is a smooth brother. You know? Like, he's got the chops for it. He's got the swag, I feel like. And that makes a big difference in politics. Marco Rubio is just a little more cut and dry. But, Marco Rubio is only able to flex his geopolitical muscle based on the position he's in. We don't really know how Marco Rubio would handle immigration. He's actually been one of these amnesty guys over the years, which is not going to be popular with MAGA. But maybe his opinion has changed. I don't know. I mean, I listen, that's a long way out.
He'd be a good vice president.
Yeah, maybe that.
J.D. Vance is president, him vice president.
J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio.
I don't know. How old is Marco Rubio? Do you know?
Oh, he's got to be approaching 50, right?
I think he may be 50, 51 maybe.
He's getting up there.
So
I mean, he's been in the game
he'll
a
be
while.
in his 60s after he would be vice president for 8 years. This is,
How old is Marco Rubio? 54 years old.
54. Haha, he's older than me.
He's older than Kerry. Maybe you should run for president.
I'd be a good president, man. I'd be good.
Yeah. No, I think we need to. I think J.D. Vance is the way. A lot of things can change between now and then, but J.D. Vance with a Marco Rubio kicker, or who else would you like to see as vice president?
As vice president, that's a good question. I don't know.
Elon Musk,
No,
Nicki Minaj,
that would be fun. That'd be funner.
J.D. Vance, and Nicki Minaj.
Man, what a ticket.
What a ticket that would be.
Yeah, that ain't gonna happen, but it'd be good. It'd be fun.
How about Kanye West?
Oh yeah, he'd be a real good choice.
How about Nicki Minaj and Kanye West on their own ticket?
Yeah, that would not. I wouldn't last. That'd be shorter than Kamala Harris's presidential.
It'd be entertaining
first
to watch.
time.
Got to admit that.
That's true too.
All right, let's go. Oh, people saying Sarah Huckabee Sanders.
For what?
I guess for vice president.
I don't know.
I mean, I like her. I don't know if she's vice president material.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Katie says one of the Trumps. Maybe Don Jr. or Eric.
Shoot, I don't think they want anything to do with it once their dad is out of office.
Yeah.
I think they are ready to go back and make money and not do anything.
Although, if you wanted to assure that the Trump legacy was going to continue, and I don't mean just by name, but I mean his policy, putting in a Don Jr. or an Eric Trump would pretty much ensure that you're going to get what you got out of Donald Trump.
Yeah, it would. I don't think that's be a good. That wouldn't be a good choice. I don't think they would do it. First of all,
Donna says Chip Roy.
no.
Chip Roy's a little flaky sometimes. I mean, he's good in moments. He has his good moments, but he's also got his bad moments where he kind of goes off the reservation. Richard the Cop says JD all the way. Justin says if it's going to be a Republican, I think Rubio or DeSantis would be better than Vance for president.
Huh? Really?
That's what he says.
Well, could be right.
And I'm not against DeSantis. I did push back on him a lot during the 2024 campaign because I was kind of like, Dave, we're handling business here. We're going for retribution. We're getting Donald Trump back in that office. You might as well move out of the way. And he he made things really hard on himself. He was not ready. He was awkward. It was just not his time. But he could come back around in the next election cycle and come off as a different kind of DeSantis. His policies are great, but you're not going to win that 30% of people in the middle over by being a weird dude.
Well, I think when J.D. Vance came on the scene, DeSantis kind of got pushed down the list, far, far down the list.
Yes, he did.
Because
Because he
JD.
was, dare I say, he was second in line.
Absolutely.
And then once J.D. Vance kind of got his footing, everybody's like, Ron DeSantis, who?
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
he may not. I mean, if you're straight MAGA, Republican, whatever, and J.D. Vance is running for the presidency, you're not going to vote against him. If you like what's going on in the country right now, you wouldn't change it to DeSantis.
Mitch says Tom Homan for vice president. I mean, I wouldn't even be mad at that.
I mean, I don't think he's a good choice.
Mike says Skippy for president.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
Sheila says John Bird for president.
I mean,
Boy, if you saw the mental state of John Bird last night on the podcast, you'd probably second guess it.
I would tune into every one of his news conferences.
Yeah, that would be
I mean-
wild. That would be wild. I'm gonna send you a video real quick, by the way. This is and you can watch it on mic. I'm gonna send. I guess I'll just send it to your cell phone, and just watch it real quick. So here's the context. I'm playing a video of this guy who's, I guess he's a gay guy or trans or whatever, and he's got these 8-inch long fingernails, and he's eating McDonald's chicken nuggets.
Oh no.
And his bird's watching it is getting incredibly frustrated until he just flips out over the video. This happened at the end of last night's podcast. So you can play it with sound, whatever, it'll just be background noise. But I want you to watch that. There you go. Check that out.
Oh my gosh. Okay, here we go. Man. Man.
What's
He looks,
And then he just walks out of the room.
man.
He couldn't take the video, and he ripped his shirt in half like Hulk Hogan style. I bring that up to say, oh, there he is again. I bring that up to say that that's what his press conferences would be like.
One question. So, Mr. Bird, what do you plan on doing about immigration? Can't take it anymore.
He'd kick everybody out. Like when it comes down to it, like I don't think people realize this, but John Bird's a lot more MAGA than people realize. Like he's a lot more straight edge America first, because he used to be, this Reaganite, very, dedicated Republican.
He's a boomer, right?
He says he's Gen X, but I don't think that's
How
right.
old is he again?
He was born in 1963.
Ooh.
He says he's on the edge. I don't know if I believe
I
it.
think he's a boomer. I think 64 is the cutoff for.
Well, he's 60. He'll be 63 in August.
Mm.
He's currently a 62.
He was born in 63, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let me do some research.
Everybody's got a different opinion on what generation's what, but anyway, John Bird for president. Good suggestion. I like that. This one says, Ron says J.D. Vance for president and Trump as the vice president. I don't think Trump was to play second fiddle. Brett says Nick Freitas for VP. Who's Nick Freitas? Freitas. Nick Freitas. Let's see. Chris says, damn, Andrew's making sure Bird never gets hired again on 99.5. That's cold-hearted. No, man, that's the sales pitch right there. That's my pitch to get him back.
I mean, the Boomers are 46 to 64.
46 to 64?
1946 to 1964 is considered a Boomer.
Okay, so he's got some sort of outskirts survey analysis that says he's not a Boomer.
Right. Okay. That's cool. Not that it's bad to be a Boomer. I'm just trying to figure out his allegiance.
Dixter says, what if you were born in 52? Definitely a Boomer.
Yeah, you are a Boomer for
You're
sure.
right in the middle of the Boomers. This one says, J.D. Vance president, Tim Scott vice president. I like Tim Scott.
That could work.
You know, he was one of the first ones to come out in the 2024 race and pledge his support for Donald Trump. So that was good. Wasn't he running as well? Wasn't he the first one that dropped out and said he's supporting Trump?
Yeah, I think
Smart move on his part.
once he realized Trump was in it to win it, he was out.
I mean, you could. This is what bothered me about everybody that tried to run against Trump in 2024. It's kind of like, y'all know where we're going with this. They had either gotten bad advice or said to themselves that Trump is such damaged goods on the backside of the 2020 election and January 6th and everything else, and the fact that his home's getting raided and the DOJ's coming after him, that he's so damaged that he can't get reelected. Give me a break, dude. Even with all that, every time something like that would happen to Trump, that told me that that's that much more assurance that he's going to win the presidency. Every single move they made, that locked it in that much further. So that's what I'm saying. All right, 545-9950. Jacob Fry, Tim Walz meeting with Tom Homan last night. I got that for you and a lot more coming up right after this. Sitting here looking at a picture of Jacob Fry eating that Somali dinner. You remember that from a few weeks ago? It just reminds me of how fake this guy is. I mean, just look at this. Hold on. I'm going to show, for those of y'all watching YouTube, how fake of an individual is this guy right here. I mean,
You know he wants to barf.
look at his face, dude. He's like,
Y'all eat this crap? God.
I mean, you look at the plate. It looks like rabbit duty. I ain't eating Somali food, man. Y'all can keep that. It looks like nothing but just a big bowl of nasty beans.
If they have their way, you're going to eat it. That's all it's going to be here sold.
Beans and rice and bananas.
If you're lucky.
Yeah. That's right. You'd think with all of this money that they're stealing that they could afford better food. But
Oh, I'm sure some do. Drive around their Lamborghini.
so Mayor Jacob Fry meets with Tom Homan, and he releases this statement. He said, I shared with Mr. Homan the serious negative impacts this operation has had on Minneapolis and surrounding communities, as well as the strain it has placed on our local police officers. Wait a minute. The police officers you told not to work with ICE? Those same police officers? He said, I also made it clear that Minneapolis does not and will not enforce federal immigration laws, and that we will remain focused on keeping our neighbors and streets safe. And he didn't share that sentiment in the room with Tom Homan. Like, he was probably cowering down and said what he thought Tom Homan needed to hear just so he could get out of there and release a statement about how big and tough he was during the meeting. Tim Walz did the same thing. Well, he made the mortal mistake of saying that he found Tom Homan professional, which does not make his people happy. But he also claimed that he demanded a swift and significant reduction in immigration agents in Minneapolis. Okay, buddy. Okay. They don't want that. As we stated yesterday several times, they want this chaos in their street. They want their constituents being shot by police and federal officials. That's what they want. They love that. If they didn't, then why are they putting themselves back into a 2020 Summer of Love deal? They want that, I assure you. But because Tom Homan said he found Tom Homan professional, actually even before he even had the meeting, there was anti-ICE protesters storming the Minnesota Capitol at Tim Walz's office. Do you remember we saw that yesterday? It popped up on the TV, and we didn't really know what was going on.
Oh, yeah.
They were protesting Tim Walz and saying that they were angry that he was even meeting or taking a phone call with Trump and meeting with Tom Homan.
Mm.
Imagine that.
What a horrible existence that must be.
You got to be a miserable human being.
I mean,
to be on that train.
Grief.
And then Joe Biden crawled out of his hole to finally make some comments on what's happened in Minneapolis and bash the Trump administration over the Alex Pretty and the Nicole Good gimmick. He said, what has unfolded in Minneapolis this past month betrays our most basic values as Americans. We are not a nation that guns down our citizens in the streets. We are not a nation that allows our citizens to be brutalized for exercising their constitutional rights. We are not a nation that tramples on the Fourth Amendment and tolerates our neighbors being terrorized. The people of Minnesota have stood strong, helping community members in unimaginable circumstances, speaking out against injustice where they see it, and holding our government accountable to the people. Minnesotans have reminded us all what it is to be American, and they have suffered enough at the hands of this administration. Violence and terror have no place in the United States of America, especially when it's our own government targeting American citizens. No single person can destroy what America stands for and believes in, not even a president, if we, all of America, stand up and speak out. We know who we are. It's time to show the world.
Yeah, we know who you are too.
More importantly, it's time to show ourselves. Now, justice requires full, fair, and transparent investigations into the deaths of the 2 Americans who lost their lives in the city they called home. Jill and I are sending strength to the families and communities who love Alex Pretty and Renee Good as we all mourn their senseless deaths.
There is no way he wrote that.
No, none whatsoever. And there's no way that he and Jill are mourning those deaths. Like, they don't, these politicians don't mourn deaths of American citizens. They don't mourn deaths of anybody. When's the last time you saw one of these individuals crying on TV? You might catch them in a traditional African garb, kneeling in the rotunda over the death of George Floyd. But you're not going to catch them crying because they don't care. They're heartless. They're soulless people. They have no conscience. If they did, they would have been extremely upset about the deaths of women and children at the border over the course of Biden's 4 years. They would be concerned about the trafficking of children. They would be concerned about the children who are still today, because of Biden's open borders, are being forced into labor, forced labor, trafficked into forced labor. That's still happening today. Sex trafficking still happening today because of Biden's open borders. hey now, and a hey now. And a hey now. Welcome to hour number 3 of the Line Talk 99.5, talk995.com. Looking at a tweet from Donald Trump. A massive armada is heading to, I lost the tweet. I'll have to look it up. He's speaking on the massive presence in the Middle East at sea, in the sense of surrounding Iran. We discussed that a little bit yesterday. Was it yesterday or Monday? I talked about it. And there is a heavy presence where Trump is essentially saying time is running out on a deal. Iran's going to have to cut a deal with us. It's going to have to do with their nuclear program and everything else. Otherwise, you might have some problems on your hands. Peace through strength, baby. That's what we call it. And, of course, you'll have your Rand Pauls and you'll have your Democrats talking about that we're invading other countries and regime change and everything else and whatever. Let them talk. We're the ones calling the shots, buddy. You just keep yapping, and we'll keep doing what we're doing. How's that sound? Have fun over there siding with the Democrats, if that's what you want. 205, and he mentioned something about it in Iowa yesterday. I don't have those comments, but essentially reiterated the same thing. 205-545-9950. Rocket is on the line. What's up, bud?
Hey, Andrew. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm confused, or maybe don't understand, but these sanctuary cities. I mean, how can a city decide, we're going to be sanctuary cities, and what's really the definition of that, and how we can ignore, federal laws? And can a sanctuary city say, okay, we think sexual offenders have been abused, and we're going to be a sanctuary city for any sexual offender, and you can come here and you don't have to worry about all that stuff that you're doing. So if you know about the definition of them and how they can do that, I would appreciate it.
Well, I think what happens is there's kind of just a gray area where the idea of sanctuary cities was made up by these leftist mayors and governors, and that's why you hear Trump calling for Congress to pass a bill that ends sanctuary cities to essentially close that loophole. They're still, if they're protecting illegals in this country, they're in violation of federal law. But I guess things have to be solidified for them to go in and, hold people accountable. I'm not really sure, but it's something to that effect, to where there needs to be legislation passed to prevent these mayors and governors from doing that.
Yeah, and if we're depending on the Democrats, then that means it'll probably never happen.
Correct. Yeah. That's correct. Yeah, that's it. Appreciate it, Rocket.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, so you've heard Donald Trump call for, the ending of sanctuary cities, because that's what I would say. I dare a Democrat mayor to say we're a sanctuary city for pedophiles. And everybody that's a pedo, you come here, come to our city. You don't have to register. You can live within 200 yards of a school or whatever. And just see how that works out for them. They would listen, if there was anybody that was going to do that, it would absolutely be the Democrat Party. Because they'll say, well, they're people too. Sex offenders are people too. They need to be protected. All right. Over to Richard the Cop. Richard the Cop, what's up, buddy?
My brother, I have been doing a little research, and I've come up with something on Instagram that has reported that the gentleman that squirted the fluid on Ilhan Omar last night, his wife is a big supporter of Ilhan Omar and AOC.
Really?
Yes, sir. That explains why it wasn't gasoline with a match behind it.
Yeah, so I haven't mentioned this yet, but this popped up last night during the podcast, and the three of us, me and Tony Gump and John Bird, watched it, and immediately upon watching this, we were like, oh, that's as staged as it gets. I mean, that was our initial reaction. Like, this is Because what's weird is if you're watching it on C-SPAN, the camera keeps angling towards this guy. Like, he keeps getting put on camera. And then, she's doing her speech or whatever. And as soon as she calls for Kristi Noem to be fired or to resign, she almost, and maybe this is coincidence, but it's almost like she gives a little nod towards the guy. And then he stands up and takes this syringe and sprays her. He doesn't even really get that close to her. He kind of sprays it as he's backing up. And she then advances towards him like she's going to fight him or tackle him. Well, then security guard gets over there and takes him to the ground. And he doesn't, like, normally when you see something like that and that person, if it's like a protester that's taken to the ground, they're kicking and screaming the entire time. You didn't see that with this guy. He was almost silently being apprehended. And all the while, Ilhan Omar is arguing with her security saying, no, I want to go ahead and go on with this speech. Allegedly not knowing what substance was just sprayed on her. She's like, no, it's fine. We're not going to let him win. And I'm like, come on.
No, reset your whole life? No. Well, I'm going to say this, Andrew. I've never taken anybody to the ground that I did it that easy.
Yeah, they did go down pretty
easy. And I've never taken anybody to the ground that didn't fight.
Yeah.
Unless they were unconscious from hitting their head.
Right.
So, it screams set up all the way. I'm getting my oil change, brother. I'll talk to you later.
All right, buddy. There's Richard the cop. What was your thoughts on that, Carrie, when you saw the video?
She was mighty calm when she got that sprayed on her. I thought it was stage 2.
She immediately starts advancing towards the guy, like she's going to take him down.
Yeah, there's pictures all over the internet with him and blue hairs and purple
hairs.
Well,
yeah, and there's a story. I saw one picture, and it was a picture of him and his little, like, wiener dog or something, and he's dressed in this very flamboyant, like, Christmas outfit.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, stepbrother-esque, Kmart, Olin Mills kind of photo. It was very gay. I'll just be honest. It was kind of gay. And with that picture was a statement from the neighbor, the guy's neighbor. And the neighbor said something to the effect of, yeah, he came over and he asked me if I would watch his dog. He was going to go to this Ilhan Omar event. And then the neighbor says he told me that he might get arrested. And he said, I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, that's him being him, whatever. And he said, ultimately, he went and did what he did.
Yeah, it just seemed, it's staged, man. It had to have been.
Yeah.
Had to have been.
Well, think about this, all right? The Somali community in Minnesota, and not all Somalis are bad. Not all Somalis in Minneapolis are bad. I'm sure there's some good people out there. But there's a lot that are committing crimes. And those crimes are fraud, pulling off a hoax, if you will. So in order to distract from the fraud by the Somalis in Minneapolis, the main Somali in Minneapolis commits another fraud by staging a Jussie Smollett-style attack for the cameras. You're not going to be able to distract from this stuff. It was the same thing. Remember when they were going after the Leering Center, one of the original, daycares, and they were getting ready to show up and start going through their paperwork and documents, and they came out and held a press conference that next morning and said, somebody broke in and stole all of our documents.
Why would they do that? I do not understand.
It's like all they know is how to commit fraud. So if they're in danger of being exposed for the fraud, they just commit more fraud. It's like you lie about something, all right? And you lie about something for so long that at some point you're going to have to lie about something else to cover up the original lie. And then you lie on top of that and on top of that, and it just snowballs. That's essentially what's going on here. We're lying to cover up lies. And and you almost can't blame them because the fraud is so monumental. It's going to be unlike anything anybody's ever seen. You thought the COVID scam was a big fraud. You thought the amount of PPP loans and COVID money that went out to people that shouldn't have gotten it was a scam. You wait until not just Minneapolis, but the rest of the country starts exposing some of this stuff. It's going to be crazy. I mean, crazy. I'll give you some details. I got lots of stuff on that front I'll get into. 205-545-9950. That is 545-9950. Chuck Davis bringing you this part of the show. ChuckDavisLaw.com. Do you need an attorney? Do you need representation? Or do you just want to go to court by yourself? You want to go to your divorce case, your divorce hearing, and tell the judge, I'm just going to represent myself? I wouldn't advise that. It sounds like a really bad idea. I'm sure your soon-to-be ex-wife or soon-to-be ex-husband would love you to do that, but I wouldn't do it if I were you. I'd instead go with somebody I can trust, somebody that I know is going to stick up for me, and that is your boy, Chuck Davis. How do I know that? Because Chuck Davis is my personal attorney. I am a believer in what Chuck does for people. He listens, he understands you, he gets your side of the story, and then he goes to fight for you. He's been doing this for a very long time. He knows what he's doing. He knows how the court systems work. He knows how the judges react. He knows how the other side or your spouse's attorney is going to act, and he takes the appropriate action to get you the best possible, the best outcome humanly possible. That's what Chuck does. Not just divorce and custody, but personal injury of all types. If you got a situation like that and you're owed money, Chuck is your man. Then you got contracts, probate, and wills. If you have not gotten your will done, for those of you that are a little older in the audience, for some of those of you that have older grandparents or parents, if they don't have a will done, ask them about it. And if they say they're ready to do one, tell them you know the perfect guy for it, Chuck Davis. Here's the number, 205-823-9992. It's 205-823-9992. And online, ChuckDavisLaw.com. No representation is made that the legal services provided are superior to the legal services provided by other lawyers. All right, couple other headlines coming across the way. One, Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk's accused assassin, wants to bar the assassination video from the trial. They don't want the video itself to be shown to jurors, which is kind of like who hadn't seen it, but whatever. You know, gotta get every. And this shows me that the defense team for Tyler Robinson is really, really going to be trying to either get him off the hook or, you know, get a lighter sentence or maybe they're just simply trying to avoid the death penalty. I don't know. But in some cases that just for argument's sake seem cut and dry, when the accused gets an attorney, a public attorney or a court-appointed attorney, usually that's just to kind of go through the motions and grant him his rights to say, you've got the right to be represented. And they're just like, hey, we got this, this, and this, man. You know, ain't going to be able to do a whole lot. They seem to be putting up a fight. So... And who knows? Most of us, well, I would say most of us, but a lot of us think that there's a lot more to that story that we don't know. Whether that be Tyler Robinson was the perpetrator with help, or was Tyler Robinson even the shooter, or what? A lot of different questions that we absolutely don't have answers to. And then another one, you've got right now the FBI searching the Fulton County election offices. I just saw FBI agents going in and out of that. Don't know what that's about. Well, I can guess what that's about, but no details on it yet. That's going to be a huge story in the coming hours. We got all that and much more. Let me go to Bubba Rumble, though. Bubba Rumble. What's up, buddy? Hey, Bubba. Are you there, Bubba? Do we got him? Did we lose Bubba? Hey, now. Okay, we don't have Bubba. But he'll hit us back, I'm sure. Like about 205-545-9950. Oh, let me tell you about Earnest Financial real quick before I forget. RetireWithEarnest.com. RetireWithEarnest.com. David Earnest and his team from not just Earnest Financial, but the Health and Wealth Show. Have y'all listened to this show? They actually do a really good job of keeping people up to date and talking about the reality. What I love about those guys is that they're just common sense, which will take you a long way in the pursuit to the truth as to, you know, what's going on in the world of politics. And they use that same common sense when it comes to the financial world. They apply common sense, but also very intelligent, in the know, if you will, tactics to make sure your money is exactly where it needs to be. They've been doing this over 40 years. They've seen all kinds of different markets. They've seen it go up. They've seen it go down. They've watched the stock market go all around, the best and the worst of it all. And from that, they have garnered the knowledge and the intuition to know where your money is going to be best served, where your money should go in order for it to be safe, and where your money should go in order for it to grow. If you want to have more money when you retire, by the time you retire than you thought you would, this is a call you need to make. What it does is they walk you through every step of the way, tell you exactly what they're doing, how they're doing it, and what a possible result of it's going to be. Again, they've been doing it a very long time. You can trust them, and the best part is it doesn't cost you anything. They don't get their fees from you. They get them elsewhere. They just help you grow your money and keep it secure. 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-7233 online, retirewithernest.com. Let's give Bubba another shot. Bubba, what's up, buddy?
Hey, now, the whole phone network died. I think the deep state's cutting off communications with the Hey Now Nation leadership.
Well, for somebody like you that is kind of, I don't want to say fully off the grid, but you're off the grid-esque. You're going to be high up on the list of people they're going to go after.
Absolutely, man. It's like me and then Ted Nugent, pretty much, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
In the same boat. But I just want to give a shout out to the cop for multitasking. He's getting his oils changed and doing op-ed research against Ilhan Omar at the same time. Now that's dedication.
It was quite impressive.
I like that. And I'm going to take Richard Cuff's word for it, and that's about seemingly most of us thought the minute we saw that video. And some anecdotal evidence I was looking at on this whole subject is fraud squad members coming out immediately with these carefully crafted tweets about Ilhan, the brother humper, getting attacked, AOC, and, the usual suspects getting her back immediately.
Oh, of course. It was a big deal when it happened, and it gave them the opportunity to paint Ilhan Omar, who has recently been exposed for becoming worth millions and millions of dollars in a very short amount of time, to portray her as a victim now instead of somebody who's completely corrupt and a fraudster, just like all of her constituents.
Yeah, and her husband's like wine company that doesn't grow wine or even sell it becoming worth like the better part of $20 million in a short time, But I was thinking, wow, she's got wine. I want to check it out. But she don't even make no Mogadishu Merlot,
And I'm looking at this guy's social media, and looks like he's got a couple kids that it seems he's got some far left gender pronoun children.
Oh, well, that's MAGA all the way.
Yeah.
You know how we love them pronouns over here in MAGA country.
Yeah, it was pretty obvious. I would think I don't know. I don't know what their thinking is. I mean, I know what they're trying. They're trying to make her a victim, which they're going to do based on her ethnicity and now based on being attacked. Is anybody bothered to tell us what was in the syringe yet?
I'm guessing it was a carefully pre-selected blend of water only. And, I'm really getting tired of, I'm getting tired of people that don't even speak English. Like, they have these heavy foreign accents. And removal of our duly elected officials in the first place. Her and Thanadar can kick rocks.
Yeah. Oh, you remember Sri Thanadar, Carrie? Him and Ilhan Omar will be two peas in a pod.
I do remember that.
I'm going to impeach.
I'll go to impeach all of you.
Yeah, like Donald Trump is soon to be being impeached.
Donald Trump. Yeah.
But don't get mad at me.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Super Slurpee.
All right, well, I'm looking forward to the heat coming down on Big Fannie Willis and her GGP and her closet full of money, because I'm liking the sound of this already, man. And as we all know, Fannie Willis is a vote rigger.
Yes, she is. She absolutely is.
All right, I'm gonna let you get back to cooking, dog. Hey now.
Hey now. You could do if Fannie Willis is going to be known as a vote rigger, you could probably take the Kanye West song, Gold Digger, and dare I say, make a parody?
That would be a good one.
I ain't saying she's a vote rigger. Well,
I mean,
I'll let you handle
it's gonna
the
be
parody.
tricky. It's going to be tricky, but it'd be good.
Yeah, it'd be very tricky. All right, 205-545-9950. A lot of the line coming up right after this. What is this deal about Bill Belichick, first round Hall of Famer? I figured you would know.
People are jealous. I really don't know because of Inflategate.
So he didn't get voted to be in the Hall of Fame?
Correct.
The NFL Hall of Fame?
If I'm reading things correctly, yes.
Mm.
And they say I'm not going to let Tom Brady in either.
Really?
Tom
Brady's not going to be in there?
People are stupid.
Is Peyton Manning in there?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. Huh, interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was too.
It's probably that girlfriend of his. He has had, if you think about it, Bill Belichick's had a lot of weird stuff go on.
Yeah, but when it comes to football, he's pretty good.
Well,
Probably.
not as of late, but
Well,
he's a bit distracted. Again, I went back and watched again this Ilhan Omar gimmick, and it's every time I watch it, it becomes more obvious. Like,
she's so tough. She ran after him.
Jesus.
If she didn't know it was going to happen, she would have crapped her pants.
Right. Because that could have been anything. It could have been, cyanide. It could have been bleach. It could have been
And if you really
anthrax.
if you really want to do something, are you going to spray it on her clothes?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying.
Not that
If he was going to be a real terrorist and was upset with her, here's some soapy water on your shirt.
And everything about him seems like a raging leftist. And hey, you could even give Ilhan Omar the benefit of the doubt, even though she is obviously involved in fraud, and say that this guy simply did that on his own.
Yeah.
And that he, as a supporter, said to himself, you know what, I'm going to go out here and sacrifice myself to help her case of being a victim. Maybe.
But
I doubt it. I'm sure she knew about it.
Yeah.
Based on her behavior, she knew about it.
Yeah, I think almost definitely. Proving that will be hard, but, whatever. Good for her for standing up for herself.
So brave.
So brave.
So brave.
And if it was, if he was some weirdo trying to do something to her and she ran after him, good for her.
Yeah. Big tough Ilhan Omar.
Not buying it, though.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She's tough. All right, so let me move over to Alex Petty. Alex Petty. New information on that front. We now know, we found out yesterday that there will be some body cam footage. We now know that there were 2 agents that discharged their weapons during that altercation. This comes through a government report that was sent to Congress. CBP agents tried to take Petty into custody after he refused to move out of the way, but a struggle ensued, and he was shot multiple times. Quote, Petty resisted CBP personnel's, and this is from the report, personnel's efforts, and a struggle ensued. During the struggle, a BPA yelled, "He's got a gun," multiple times. Approximately 5 seconds later, a Border Patrol agent discharged his CBP-issued Glock 19, and a CBP officer also discharged his CBP-issued Glock 47 at Petty. After the shooting, a BPA advised he had possession of Petty's firearm. The BPA subsequently cleared and secured Petty's firearm in his vehicle. The report was shared with congressional officials Tuesday, which said it was based on a preliminary review by its Office of Professional Responsibility, provides the most comprehensive official account yet of Petty's killing. According to the report, CBP agents were conducting an operation in Minneapolis on Saturday morning, blah, 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 go through the story. And then it goes through everything else that we know. I go back to yesterday. We found out several things yesterday, one of which was that it was just a week earlier he got in a tussle with Border Patrol and ICE agents and allegedly broke a rib. And within a week after getting his rib broken, allegedly, he was in the face of ICE agents yet again, which is a little bizarre, dare I say, bad decision making. But then, even before that, it was discovered that he was running around Minneapolis, chasing and harassing and running license plates and being a major part of this larger operation. I gave you the details yesterday about the Signal chats and how sophisticated and detailed it is. I believe, if it hasn't already, will come out that it was, in fact, the Signal chats that got Pretty in the situation he was in. He was known, and he had a mission. He was on a mission. He was on the clock. He was on the Antifa Ice Out protest clock to go in and harass these agents and cause problems. He was on a mission to commit crimes. Which means this was not, and this is the picture they want to paint for you, that he's just a regular old ICU nurse from the VA. And he just happened to stumble across Border Patrol agents looking to go detain an illegal in a donut shop. And as a patriotic American, he decided to step in, start video recording, and then was mercifully killed by ICE agents just because he was recording. That's what we've been told ever since this happened. But it turned out he had been doing this for weeks. And every time he did it, he brought himself closer to this situation. He's already doing it day in and day out. He's making it known with his actions that he hates ICE. He hates the government. He hates immigration enforcement. And with that hatred, and we all see the deranged individuals on TV, on social media, with that mindset, that deranged mindset, he then goes into this situation with a loaded firearm and 2 magazines full of ammunition. I don't know that there's many more conclusions you can draw from that. Why would you have your firearm, which he had illegally? People will tell you, no, he was illegally had his gun. Technically, he didn't have his permit on him. He didn't have his identification, which is not permissible in the state of Minnesota. There's also rules in Minneapolis and Minnesota about having a firearm within so many feet of a protest. Double whammy. But that's neither here nor there. He's not going to get cited for those infractions. But everything he did in those few moments before he lost his life, he did the wrong thing. Every action he took was the wrong action. And just like anything else in life, you have the ability to make decisions that could cost you dearly. Cost you financially, cost you pain and suffering, and sometimes, sadly enough, cost you your life. The guy shouldn't be dead. I wish he wasn't dead. I wish Nicole Good wasn't dead. I think any loss of life is tragic. But I can't sit here and pretend like you didn't do that to yourself. The guy was an adult with the ability to make adult decisions, and he just happened to make the wrong one. That information will continue to come out. As stated, Congress has gotten a report from CBP or DHS or whoever sent this report. 2 agents fired their weapons in that incident, and body camera footage is out there. I don't know that we're going to see that body cam footage anytime soon, and props to the investigators for not allowing it to be leaked, although I would personally like to see it because I want to assess it. But they're keeping this investigation close to the vest, which is good. Now, if Minneapolis if Tim Walz, if Jacob Fry got what they wanted, which is to be leading the investigation, it'd all be out. Everything would be out, which would mean any future jury pool would be tainted, which would be what they were looking for. They can put out their official narrative, make sure the public sees it, make sure potential jurors can see it, and then case closed. Did the same thing with Derek Chauvin. It's the same song and dance. A lot of these individuals, they really don't change it up. They've got the same playbook, and they do the same thing over and over and over. And they do it with the help of the media. The media allows them to get away with this, and actually they promote it, just like they're promoting these protests. Take ABC, for example. ABC had a reporter on the ground in Minneapolis, and that reporter stood there in the street justifying and defending leftists for bringing guns to these anti-ICE protests. Remember, that's what caused this. The gun being brought to the protest. And now the media is actively defending it.
I mean, anger is absolutely the main emotion that we are seeing, George. They feel like they have a right to continue pushing back, and they feel like it is working. But especially they're upset because they feel like ICE has been everywhere. When I got to town, my team who had already been here said, don't rent a dark SUV. People will assume you are a federal agent because they're all over the place, and people will not be happy. You, of course, also have the immigrant communities. They are very afraid. There are people who haven't left their homes in weeks. And maybe, George, the most dominant emotion is dread. As long as the raids continue, the protests continue, and another shooting could happen at any moment. And especially after Alex Preddy's shooting, more demonstrators could potentially bring their own weapons under the belief they have to be prepared to defend themselves from federal agents who could shoot them. It is a very dangerous recipe. People are scared, but they're also resolute that they have to fight back.
These people are resolute. They're resolute. And they do their media journalism jargon in order to say, well, we didn't tell people to bring guns. But they were like, but people, they really have to bring guns. They got to bring guns because this is a gunfight between the protesters and the federal government. But they're resolute. These people are resolute. Resolute in all their pronouns and pink hair. An injured hand from picking up flashbangs. They're resolute. Power to the people. All right, your phone call's next. 205-545-9950. More of the line on its way. 205 545 9950. 545 9950. To the lines we go. Lines on the line. Brett is on the line. What's up? Oh, let me try that again. Brett, go ahead.
Hey, Hey, so do you see any simulation between the assassination attempt on President Trump in Pennsylvania and the way Ilhan Omar reacted to her incident yesterday?
Yeah, I saw Ilhan Omar definitely wanted to put her fist up in the air and start chanting "fight, fight, fight."
But you don't see the simulation.
The simulation? You mean the similarities?
Well, the similarity, yeah.
Not.
I mean, Trump stuck around that stage for at least 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
And he went for his
had to
ear
get up
right
off the
when
ground.
when he heard the gunshot, he felt for his ear, and when he pulled his hand away from his ear, there was no blood on his hand. Where did the blood come from?
Oh, are you saying Trump didn't get shot?
No, he didn't get shot.
Well, then where did the blood from his ear come from?
Well, I don't know. He's real good friends with Vince McMahon and his wife, and WWE. Y'all that group over there loves that kind of stuff.
So it's a wrestling work.
Yeah, I mean they got fake blood capsules, and he's perfect.
Okay.
I mean, got good camera shots. But Ilhan Omar, you're gonna say that she faked hers. I can say Trump faked his, and he was down in the polls at the time, so he got all that extra boost from that right before a week before the convention, where he wore his tampon to the convention for a week, and then all of a sudden his ear's back to normal.
You don't actually believe that, Brett.
His ear is back to normal.
You
Yes, I do.
actually don't believe that Donald Trump didn't get shot.
Donald Trump, he didn't even go to he didn't go to the hospital. He didn't go to the hospital and get nothing done.
Yeah, he did. Actually, he did go to the hospital, but
No, he didn't. No, he didn't. One of the congressmen, one of the Republican congressmen, banded him up with a tampon on his ear.
Oh, okay. So Secret Service
There's so much.
Secret Service
Yeah.
just said, "Oh, we'll just put a tampon on it and we'll move along." You believe that's what happened?
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. He didn't go to the hospital.
There's no way you believe that.
Find a story where he said he went to the hospital. Get a medical report where he went to the hospital and give it to your audience.
Okay, Brett, we'll do that. So what's your larger point? You're saying that Ilhan Omar's attack and Trump's attack were both fake? By the way, there was nothing fake about a guy at the Ilhan Omar gimmick spraying her with something. He sprayed her with something.
You want to spew your crazy stuff, I can spew my crazy stuff. But it looks the same to me. I don't care. They both fake it. I don't care. Which one has more to lose?
I gotcha. Okay, Brett. Thank you, buddy.
All right, buddy. Yep.
Those calls are starting to make less and less sense. Is it just me?
That's a stretch. He was trying to. His argument was he wasn't shot, and yeah.
Well, Ilhan Omar did get sprayed with something.
Yes, she did.
If you want to make the argument that Trump worked with Thomas Crooks, so Thomas Crooks could shoot him in the ear.
Right. Yes.
Which is also a bizarre concept, but that would be the appropriate comparison.
Well, they act like he was shot at. Yes, everybody knows he was shot at, but he really didn't get shot.
It was a blood capsule.
It was just they had it ready because they were willing to kill people.
It was
so stupid.
It was a WWE blood capsule.
Come on, Brett, you can do better than that.
Anybody that knows anything about ballistics knows that what happens when somebody gets shot or when a bullet makes impact with something, that it is extremely unpredictable. Not every single shot is going to result in the exact same reaction, but that's not stuff that I think Brett is concerned with with hearing. So, all right. More of your phone calls on the other side. I'm just running behind, but we're going to get you. I promise. Just hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. 205-545-9950. 545-9950 on this Wednesday, hump day edition of The Line on Talk 99.5. And don't forget, Real Talk 99.5 TV on YouTube. Get on there and lock it in, cuzzer.